Now we come to something that will be much easier for you than the different ways of writing sentences. It's how to vary your sentence openings. I'm sure that you can do this, because if you repeat the, it, this, and I, it can be a little bit boring to read. So check here how you can swap the order of any sentence and it becomes a lot more interesting to read. This little example here will convince you, I hope. It says the biggest coincidence that day happened when David and I ended up sitting next to each other at the Super Bowl. Perhaps you could choose to write instead, in an amazing coincidence, David and I ended up sitting next to each other at the Super Bowl. Or, by sheer coincidence, I ended up sitting directly next to David at the Super Bowl. Or this one, with over 50,000 fans at the Super Bowl, it took an incredible coincidence for me to end up sitting right next to David. And this one, unbelievable, I know, but David and I ended up sitting right next to each other at the Super Bowl. And without any prior planning, David and I ended up sitting right next to each other at the Super Bowl. So you hear, I'm saying exactly the same thing, but in different ways. There are many examples here, so I really suggest that you have a look at this. Have it beside you or download the PowerPoint presentation or the PDF and look at what you have written yourself, because if you spend time varying your sentences using linking words, you will definitely improve your English and you will be able to reach the higher grades. Many of you have set goals of B's and A's and so on, and this is one way of reaching them, to know the English language better. So that's why we have decided at Hermods to do this for you, to really help you. Because all of us teachers here, we would really like you to feel that you improve during the course and not just, oh, I need to hand in an uppdrag in now. No, this will enable you to do it well and you can feel proud of yourself. Yes, I've done it. I have improved. So how can you then create variety when you write? As you see, I have always included different websites from universities and so on where you can find even more information. Here are the ones that I mentioned before, dependent markers. It sounds beautiful, doesn't it? But if you look at the words, you will know. If you use words as after, although, as, if, because, before, even if, even though, in order to, since, and so on. For example, instead of saying, the room fell silent when the TV newscaster reported the story of the earthquake. You can swap the order. You say, when the TV newscaster reported the story of the earthquake, the room fell silent. And then you end a sentence, a clause here, with something that the reader will remember. The room fell silent. It was a sad story. And if you would like to vary the rhythm, you can do that by adding something called transitional words. If you have accordingly, after all, afterward, although, consequently, if you have them, I assure you it will be easier for you also to perhaps think, what is it that I want to prove here? What more would I like to add? What is it that I would like to say? There is an example here. Fast food corporations are producing and advertising bigger items and high-fat combination meals. The American population faces a growing epidemic of obesity. Then it would be possible to write, fast food corporations are producing and advertising bigger items and high-fat combination meals. Meanwhile, the American population faces a growing epidemic of obesity. So you see, now we have connected the sentences, meanwhile. And all of a sudden, oh yes, that's the danger. This is happening at the same time. So by picking and choosing the right words, you can help your readers to see, there is a connection here. That is good. And that will be much easier for your readers, but it's also nicer for you to read when you use words like this, to write when you use words like these. There is also a question of formal vocabulary. I suggest that you look at Wikipedia. You can find this enormous long list of formal English. Instead of saying change, you can say adjustment. You can say, instead of tell, you can say advice. Instead of room, accommodation. It's so easy, actually, if you take time to look it up. Some of you have really got this enormously huge and broad vocabulary. It's fantastic, but it's possible to improve even further. And sometimes I comment and I say, don't use colloquial language, and I'm sure my colleagues do exactly the same thing. What is colloquial language or vernacular language? That means everyday language, used when we're speaking, and then it's just fine. But in these essays, there are a few things you need to think about. Don't use avoid totally short forms, abbreviations. Say I am, it is, there is. And you should avoid colloquial expressions. Many of you say pretty much. No. Put up with things that you use or hear on TV. No. Avoid simplistic vocabulary. Experts say they think this is bad. Try to revise that sentence. And if you have many short sentences after one another, no. Try to make one long, one short, and vary a little bit more with the rhythm. In an academic essay, please avoid an emotional language. I absolutely detest. No, it's strongly advised. Something like that. If you express your personal opinions, not when you write an essay like this. It seems like, instead of I know or I feel. It's clear that. And be aware never to refer to statistics as accuracy if you don't know for sure. For instance, when you are discussing your scientific articles. A recent study showed. What study? Is there anything that can prove it? Is it credible? And avoid using cliches. And avoid using personal examples. Refer to the book, refer to authorities, and thereby, if you do this, I promise you, this is a lot, but if you take time, now you have both the structure for how to write a literary analysis, you've learned how to formulate a good thesis statement, how to discuss quotes, and how to summarize and prove that you're right. And now you also have the formal language, which will help you to really, really present a fantastic literary analysis. And I'm sure you can do that. So good luck from all of us here at Hermods. And we really hope that these films have helped you so that you feel that now I can actually do this well. And don't hesitate to ask us, of course, if there is something that you haven't understood. But I think if you download the PowerPoint presentation or the PDF and you look at the films, you stop it and listen again, I'm most certain that this will really help you to do very well. So good luck from all of us at Hermods to you.